This video will cover how to add requirements to modules in Canvas so students experience your content in the order you designed it. Typically, students will use the Canvas to-do list to figure out which assignments they have to complete by a particular due date. Unfortunately, the default in Canvas is to have those assignments show up in alphabetical order, and most of us do not build modules in alphabetical order. For example, in our language courses, we often guide students through our outcomes with lecture material and then move to what might be considered more passive activities, interpretive reading, interpretive listening, and then move to more active activities such as presentational speaking or presentational writing. And if I want to control that to work the students through a particular route, I can do that through module settings. So with modules, once you're on the modules page, on the module that you would like to add requirements or restrictions to, in the upper right with the three dots, click that and then click Edit. And then you can lock until a particular date. This might be especially important in the fall and spring semesters when you don't want students to take final exams early due to university restrictions. You can add a prerequisite. For example, here I have a module that must be completed, the pre-work or module 0, that has to be completed before students can move to this particular module. And then once students get into this module for the present tense review and the practicamos, the students have to complete all of the requirements and they have to go through a sequential order. So I've marked both of those. If you do any type of differential learning, you could have, or differentiation, you could click here that students must complete one of the requirements below, but that is not something that we typically use in the languages. Now for the pages, if you have a content page, you can have those as view the item, mark is done, or contribute to the page. You'll especially see contribute to the page for discussions. For pages, I simply use mark is done. Once you have quizzes or assignments, you can have students view the item, submit the assignment, score at least a particular score. I usually do submit the assignment. And if I have, for example, a file like the rubric that I have here, if I want to add that, I choose that particular file and it will now show up as view the item, and then any changes that I've made, I update the module, and now you can see that this is popped up to view the item. So these first two pages must be marked as done, the rubric needs to be viewed, and then these assignments need to be submitted. All of these need to be done in order, and once that is done, students will be able to unlock and move to the next module. So those are some module requirements or restrictions that you can add in Canvas.